Views with myself, Salila Makwidiri. We're going to be kickstarting the show. Our first story of the day is South Africa's much touted national dialogue. I think which we can all agree has started off to a shaky start. President Cyril Ramaphosa is urging citizens not to shy away from disagreements in this national dialogue. He's saying that robust debate is the only way to build a stronger democracy. But critics are calling the gathering a stage managed talk shop, heavy on rhetoric, light on solutions, and plagued by poor planning. The event was meant to bring together voices from across society, but it has already been rocked by the withdrawal of a few political parties, including the likes of Action SA, also the Solidarity Movement, and even several other respected legacy foundations like the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, who questioned the National Dialogue's credibility. Some describe it as a turning point for democracy, saying South Africa is at a crossroads right now, and in true South African style and fashion, we need to sit around the proverbial round table, dissect, talk issues out like we've done previously. But others are dismissing it as another round of empty promises. So, this morning, we asked the question: is this national dialogue a genuine attempt to heal the fractures in our democracy, or just another political performance? And joining us to answer some of those questions is none other than Professor Koma. He's an expert in governance. Prof, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you giving us your time this morning.
Yes, thanks, Lilo, for the
Mm.
opportunity.
I think before we get into the nitty gritties of the national dialogue, I just want to get your thoughts around it, around this whole thing holistically, this 700 million plus bill that we are sitting with as taxpayers of this country. Was the national dialogue the correct and right way to go about things when it comes to South Africa kind of reconfiguring itself, and us understanding and knowing the challenges that we have and tackling them? Are the solutions in this national dialogue that has gone ahead despite a lot of organizations, a lot of people saying we don't really need this? There are other ways and channels that we can go about fixing the nation's challenges.
Yes, Lilo. So from the onset, these are the issues we raised. We said we do not need a national dialogue in the sense that we have a whole range of commissions of inquiry that conducted their work and came up with recommendations that needs attention of the lawmakers, including cabinet as well as the president for actioning. We've had summits, we've had presidential embizos, including ministerial engagements with ordinary citizens on the ground. So we said, will this initiative in the form of a national dialogue yield any groundbreaking solutions? Or are we going to have a repetition of solutions? So these were the issues we raised at the outset. But now the horse is bolted. The national dialogue is in full swing. What we now need to call for is an improved process and organization of the national dialogue. And I'm comforted by the remarks made by the president during the opening of the national convention when he said this should be a citizen-led initiative and also process. So this is what we now have to look forward to, that at the end of the day, ordinary citizens on the ground will be afforded an opportunity to express their views and also their aspirations as to what needs to be the end product or the outcomes of this national dialogue sometime next year. So at this stage, we do not know the deliverables. Will the national dialogue lead to, for example, constitutional reform, legislative reform, the reorganization of the state, but very importantly, the reset of the economy? Because without tackling this issue of the economy, the majority of ordinary citizens who bear the brunt of poverty unemployment, and inequality will continue to be economically marginalized and also excluded. So the National Convention has concluded its business, which will now shape the work through, of course, as they said, they will now go to communities, ward to ward, engaging with ordinary citizens as part of shaping the process of course, coming up with the key themes and also the solutions that will be then interrogated at the upcoming national dialogue, which is likely to take some time. I mean, to take place sometime next year. So it remains to be seen how all these processes will be unfolding. But we also raise the issue around the costing. Is the cost justifiable, given the myriad socioeconomic conditions facing majority of ordinary citizens? We also said in the makeup of the national dialogue, why are captains of industry, the capital owners, missing from the composition of the national dialogue? Because these are the crucial players who, in my view, will unlock the economic potential of the country with a view, of course, to create the much needed employment opportunities, but also addressing these socioeconomic conditions or challenges, namely poverty and also inequality. So let's see how the process improves and also unfolds going forward.
Mm, mm, mm. I want to touch on something which, even before the dialogue began, was becoming a very, very concerning trend. We saw organizations, legacy organizations, I should mention, like the Tabombeki Foundation, and also Solidarity, who withdrew from the national dialogue. Some are saying, the process has been hijacked by the ANC and essentially has become a venting session of some sort that will yield no kind of results. How damaging are these withdrawals to the legitimacy of this dialogue? Just looking at it, it's these foundations, we look at them with the credibility of the leaders that have led them. If you look at Tabombeki, for instance, one of the best statesmen, what do you make of that? The withdrawals that we've seen before this thing even kickstarted.
Yes, Lilo, we can have a dialogue while other crucial stakeholders are excluded or they've decided not to be part of shaping the process. And also, as the president rightly put it, to be in the tent. We can't afford to have that. That AfriForum is not on board. Solidarity Union is not on board. FF Plus, including the DA, are not on board. The organizers of this event will now have to of course, ensure that they use the art of persuasion, persuading the legacy foundations that have since withdrawn their participation, plus these crucial stakeholders I've mentioned, including the captains of industry, the capital owners, to also be part of driving this particular process. So you are quite right. It now, it is now incumbent upon the organizers of the event to ensure that going forward, every stakeholder that matters is persuaded to be part of this particular process.
From your own perspective as a governance expert, what would have been the correct model for a national dialogue, especially looking at the current state of the country, the true and lived experiences of South Africans, and what they could have potentially would have liked to see, not only as outcomes but as a process of the national dialogue?
You're right, Silalo. In an ideal setup, ordinary citizens, we were the ones who were supposed to organize ourselves, assemble ourselves with a view to petition the state that these are the issues that we require the state to attend to. These are issues that pertains to economic matters and also to some extent social matters that require the state to consider and also to action. We're giving you a timeline to say in the short, medium, and long term, these are the deliverables, these are our expectations, and this is what we want to see the state addressing. So, the process that we have, unfortunately, is top-down driven. It was supposed to be bottom-up driven, ordinary citizens, including these representatives from the 200 plus civil society organizations, organizing ourselves, calling for a national convention, dictating our own agenda, influencing our own agenda in respect of what should be the pressing matters that are addressed by the state at the end of the day. But as I said, we now have to call for an improved process because the national dialogue is in full swing and the president has called for everyone to be part of the initiative and also, as you rightly put it in your intro, to say let's have robust discussions, debates that will shape the work of the organizers of the national dialogue.
Mm, And as you mentioned, we are where we are right now, and I think it's best that we make the best out of it. And I think one of the issues that many South Africans have with this national dialogue is one thing that we've always known for a very, very long time. People are tired of promises and conversations with no follow through. But just looking at it from a governance perspective, what kind of mechanisms can or should be put in place to ensure that these dialogues don't just fade into another talk shop? It's not like one of the many, inquiries that you've mentioned that yielded no results, and so much money has been pumped into it. How do we now ensure that if there are recommendations from this dialogue, they are put in place, and we hold those responsible to make sure that they are being followed through to task if they're not?
You're right. Very significant question, Silaido. We need to see, at the end of the day, the forging of a social compact
Hmm.
that obligates all the crucial players, the traditional authorities, the business and investment community, the religious and faith organizations, political parties represented in the National Assembly, including the other nine legislatures, capital owners, the captains of industry, and other crucial players agreeing collectively that this is the South Africa we want to see going forward, and we are taking a responsibility to action A and B as part of the social compact, which may lead to, for example, something like a charter. So that
Mm,
10, 15, 20 years down the line, we'll continue to refer to, just like the Freedom Chart, we continue to refer to it to say this was what was agreed upon at the convention that shaped the Freedom Charter. I wish that at the end of the day, this is what the national dialogue should produce.
most definitely. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, Prof. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on Salam Media, and thank you for the brilliant insights that you always offer us.
Okay, thanks, Lilo.
There you go. That was governance expert, Professor Sam Koma, dissecting the state of South Africa's first national dialogue. But I want to hear from you, our listeners. Do you believe the national dialogue can deliver real solutions, or it's just another political talk shop? You can send us a voice note or WhatsApp on 0617660355, or you can tweet us at Salam Media using the hashtag news and views. Because I think we can't deny the fact that South Africa is at a crossroads right now, and the best thing that I think we've built our democracy upon is dialogue, is conversations, is sitting around a table and putting matters forward, despite the differences that we probably might have. But just looking at this dialogue, man, I think number one, the cost factor was a big one for a lot of people. Why should just talking cost so much? And then you had organizations and political parties that were starting to pull out of it before it even began. Legacy Foundations, Tabombeki Foundation, and he ultimately even got backlash from his own political party. I read somewhere one of the NEC members saying Tabombeki has forgotten that he's no longer a leader in the ANC anymore, and he doesn't wield as much power and authority as he used to. So already you're starting on a bad note. You have the Democratic Alliance, which is a political party in governance. They are government right now at this current moment within the realm of the GNU. So you have a big arm of the state, of government, a big section, a chunk of our government, the government of the day, saying we also don't want anything to do with this. And then you have other members of the GNU also saying we're not playing ball with this thing. It's not gonna take off. So as a regular Joe, a regular South African like myself, what do you think is needed right now? Looking at South Africa and where we find ourselves, because I think if we tip to the wrong end of the scale right now, there could be a point of no return. So something drastic needs to be done. And the president and the government of the day, well, maybe not the whole part of the government of the day, saw it fit that there should be a national dialogue in UNISA. And maybe that could be a moment where, I don't know, South Africa finds solutions to the many problems that we have. But do you think there could have been other avenues that we could have used? Was this very, very expensive national dialogue the correct way? As I mentioned, you can engage with us about your thoughts. What do you feel? 0116800355. That's our studio line. You can give us a call, and you and I can talk live on the air, on radio, or you can send us a WhatsApp voice note message. We'll also play it out live. Our number is 061 766 0355. We're having a conversation around the national dialogue. Should or shouldn't we have these talks about talks? Going to take a quick break. News and Views continues after this.